in person, obviously. I see a few hands as I scroll through. And how many of you have never been to a convention? Never been to a convention? I see one hand. Okay, and then I see some people who, it's just your names, so I don't see it. All right, so over to the right, I'm seeing not been, never been, never been, never been. I have never been. Okay, so it's pretty split so far with who has been and who has not been. All right, it is 5 o'clock, so Ange, go ahead and record. Welcome everybody to our All Things Convention class tonight. My name is Andrea Lehman. It's my husband, Andy Lehman, and there's about 8 others on the call who are going to be sharing little tidbits with you tonight. We just wanted to be able to bring people together since convention is a little different this year. You're not going to have the in-person experience, but you're going to get, what I'm loving about it is that it's going to allow for a lot more people to attend this year and get just a glimpse of what they can look forward to next year when they actually go in person. We were just in the chat talking about who's been, who's not been before to convention. I think we have a pretty mixed group on the call tonight. So we're excited to just share with you guys some things from conventions past. So we're going to be talking a little bit about the farm experience tonight. We're going to be talking about workshops and about keynote speakers. You're going to get to hear a little bit about Gary and a little bit of, his heart. You're going to get to hear some reflections on the expo experience at convention. And then we're going to end by talking about this year's convention and give you the details you need so that you can be part of it, and also let you know why you want to be part of it, okay? Some of the perks for getting your virtual ticket for this year's event. So I'm gonna be stopping us 3 times throughout the course of this next hour to do a giveaway. And that giveaway is gonna be a $20 off of your convention ticket. Now, some of you are saying I already have a convention ticket. So this is where you're gonna participate and then share the wealth. So if we choose your name and you already have your convention ticket, then you're gonna find somebody in your life that you want to be able to have a convention ticket and say, hey, I have $20 off, would you like to use that? So that's how we're gonna do things tonight. Let's get this started. Our first speaker tonight is Nan Gillespie. She is going to share a little bit with everybody about the farm experience. And then we're gonna go straight from Nan and into you sharing some of your reflections about the farm.
Well, thank you. I'm excited to share some of my farm experiences. I have to share a couple pictures with you, so Ange, I can do that, right? Okay. So let me pull those up real quick. They're on my desktop, which means I have to minimize everything so I can actually get them for you. All right. So one year we went to the farm, and it just so happened that a huge group of us were all there on the same day, because farm day can be several days. And we saw Mary Young just walking around the farm. And so I elbowed Ange, and I'm like, Ange, go get her. Get her to talk to our team. And I think Ange did the same thing to Andrea. And so I'm going to just show you a couple. First of all, this was our group at the farm that just all happened to be there at the same time. So you can kind of look, see if you see yourself. Lots of fun people in our group. And then she really just, posed for pictures with us. She gave us some advice and talked to us and listened to people's stories. I mean, it was just so amazing and you can see how tiny she is. It was just so amazing to just hear from her directly. And my favorite picture is she just took a liking to our dog, Jack. We always take our dogs everywhere we go with us. And so she wanted to know about Jack and how we use our oils with Jack. And she told us a couple stories about other people and their dogs. So it was a lot of fun. So when you go to the farm, you never know who you might run into. I wore my pink shirt in honor of Mary today, just so we'd match in the pictures. And I never know who you're gonna run into. So Mike dropped me off at the Salt Palace one time and went to park the car, and look who he walked in the building with. Gary Young. So we got to talk to him too. So going to these events is incredible, and you never know who you're going to run into. And we're so blessed that before Gary passed, that Mike had a chance to spend some time talking to him. So that's my story.
All right, Ange, what do you got? You're on mute. Now that was so cool to see those pictures. Awesome that you have those to keep. And I want that one, that first one that has me in it. Ange?
Okay, so I'm off mute because I'm running all the tech, but I didn't have my own pictures pulled up. You can go back to our Young Living YU recording from our April class, titled after the same thing, and see some of these photos. But real quickly, I'm just going to pull them up there in no certain order. This is my son when we first started taking the family to convention. That is German chamomile. And I only remember that because I thought they were just daisies, but found out later. But isn't that an awe-inspiring view? Now Dawson's 14 and has a man's voice, but then he was, cute and innocent. Here we all are there with and this is exactly in the valley. A lot of you who live in Phoenix and travel north on I-15 have seen our Young Living farm right off the highway. You're always welcome to stop when there's not a global pandemic, and make yourselves at home. This is actually from France. Our family's been very blessed to have some family vacations. This is the lavender farm in France. This was inside a really old looking castle-like building. That's the best I got for what that is there in Provence. This is from Ecuador. Jerry and I had the privilege of going there on the Platinum Retreat in 2018. And this is overlooking the entire 2,000 acres that Gary bought when we were first getting started with Young Living. I think my mom's going to talk about that later. This is up in Idaho. This is lavender from the Highland, from the St. Mary's field. Some of you have a bottle of St. Mary's oil. That's lavender grown in Idaho. Goldenrod is also grown in this field or in this area. Guys, I cannot stress enough that when you become a silver, gold, platinum, Young Living Diamond, Young Living doesn't just send you on like exotic trips, but they send you to locations where we are growing plants that are distilled into oils. Like, isn't that the coolest thing, is to build belief in our company? Here's Gary speaking to the Golds at that retreat in 2015. And then fast forward, this is out in Croatia where Young Living actually harvests helichrysum, which is a primary constituent of Panaway. This is a plaque that is there, planted by Gary Young in 2015. They have saved the community there with job sourcing, as well as just kind of pouring into the economy. And then let's see, there's the whole fam bam there as well. So those are the farms are global, but one of the benefits of going to the convention in Utah every year is getting to go to the Mona farm. But of course, if you are if you are ready for an adventure, like I said, go and travel to any of the partner farms or farms around the globe.
Loved that. You have such great pictures. This is so fun to see. Okay, we're gonna move from farms, and I guarantee you when you go next year to convention, it will be possibly the highlight of your time at convention. There's nothing like it, and it gives you such a real feel for this company and just what they need. So we're gonna go now to some of the keynotes from the past. So we're gonna share just a couple excerpts from some of the keynote speakers. Andy's going to start. Who are you talking about tonight?
Talking about a guy named Darren Hardy. Give us, in the comments, let us know if you've heard of Darren Hardy before. So Darren Hardy spoke at the 2013 convention. We're talking a throwback 7 years ago, but a life-changing speech for me personally. I actually listen to Darren Hardy every single day. He has an email called Darren Daily, and just drops in your inbox at like 3 a.m. every morning. And so when I wake up in the morning, it's one of the parts of my morning routine. So he just shared some things that were pretty transformational for me. So I just wanted to share them with you. He said that success is mundane, laborious, frustrating, and defeating. That sounds pretty fun, doesn't it? He said, and by the way, I'm not sure if this stat is still true, but he said that about 44% of doctors are overweight. So there's a difference between knowing the path and actually following it, right? There's really only one thing that separates us all, and I think you all know what it is. It's choices, right? Our daily choices. We get to choose every single day how we go about our day, what it is that we do. He said that these are all myths. He said that heroic acts, bravery, and quantum leaps, they're all just false. They're just myths. But really, in all reality, it's just the small, seemingly insignificant moment-to-moment choices that we make that really make the big difference. An example is what you choose for lunch every day. Like, that's really small, seemingly insignificant, but it is a big deal. I won't forget the story he shared about Will Smith, the actor. And he talked about how Will Smith is never getting ready for a show, or when he's acting, he just stays ready. So he just does the same thing day in and day out. He's just always ready, so that when it's time, he's ready to go. And that really has stuck with me since then. If you think about it, a poor choice is rewarded now. A positive choice is rewarded later. To conclude, we've all heard this one before. The pain of discipline weighs ounces. The pain of regret weighs tons. So I know for sure you are going to hear a keynote speech this year at convention, even though it's online and not in person, that's going to shift and change your life. Because I know that every single person that's on this call that has been to convention or been to any of the other events that we go to year in, year out, there are things that we can't take out of our minds. Like, they are stuck in our minds. When we wake up in the morning, they pop into our heads and they drive us. And that's an amazing thing. So hopefully you take something away from that. And I'm just pumped for convention.
Speaking of,
Sorry, I just sort of took that lead in, Andy, to announce that our keynote speaker at convention this year is Amy Purdy. If you haven't heard Amy Purdy's story, jump online. She has an incredible, actually Aaron introduced us to her a dozen years ago probably, and she's a paraplegic who didn't let that stop her after a bout with meningitis in college, and has gone on to do amazing things, including starting a foundation for adaptive athletics. So we can't wait to hear from her as well.
she'll be fantastic. And speaking of Aaron, are you ready to share a little something?
Yeah, I'm not quite as organized as my brother is. I don't have notes from 4 years ago from the speeches. Like, that's amazing, Andy. You inspire me.
For people who are first on the call, you guys have to understand we're siblings. So I'm the oldest, Andy's the middle, organized one, and Aaron's the baby who pulls it together. So that's
We're all different.
And we love each other in the midst of it
do.
all.
Yes,
Deborah's nodding proudly at us.
So I'm going to start with Joy Oil, because Sarah and I were recalling Wayne Dyer, and when he has changed my family's life in so many ways, but he came and spoke at Young Living Convention and called these little bottles of God. So I don't know if anybody remembers that, but Sarah and I were recalling calling the bottles little bottles of God, and that Joy Oil was one of his go-tos, is what we remember him saying. And one thing we talked about also just in recalling him was he just went off the cuff. He said, I don't, it's let go, let God when I'm up presenting, and I just want to share from my heart. And this, he is, if you have not listened to Wayne Dyer before, really game changing. There's a great movie on YouTube that he put together called The Shift. And it's kind of a semi-documentary with some little pieces in it. Anyway, he's not for everybody, right? We all like vibrate with different voices, and some of his language is different, right? It's different, but he may connect with you like he did with me. Sarah also remembers him. Well, Andre, you guys all kind of got to connect with Wayne outside, right?
This was right before that photo. I can't find the photo with Wayne in it. You must have it.
Yeah.
This is right before. Right now, I'm looking for it.
Uh-huh.
But
and Andre, didn't you give him you gave Wayne gave you a hug, and Sarah was at the time was feeling a bit like self-conscious because she had a little bit of like an eye inflammation from sunburn, or I don't even know what happened. But but Wayne came over and like kissed her on the cheek and
Oh, there it is. Good.
something sweet.
There it
Oh,
is.
that's great.
With Benny. Oh no, is it Grant?
No, it was
Thanks, Betty.
Betty.
There you cameras.
So anyway, just really, really blessed. And my last piece would be that last year, John Maxwell presented, and then, and he, oh my gosh, so cool, so cool. And one thing that stood out to me from his speech was, like going after a tree, right? Like, are you going to hit the same tree? Help me out if I'm not remembering this correctly, Billa. Chop the tree, chop the tree, like, stay focused on that one tree. So whatever that goal is, whether it's, your nutrition game, you want to level up your nutrition game. If you want to level up any aspect of your life, like stay focused. For him, it's writing. He wanted to be an amazing writer. And so he just every day is writing. So whatever your personal goal is, whether it's professional, entrepreneurial with the business, health-wise, like just stay committed to that, just one thing at a time. Like, and anyway, and then I read his book this winter while I was over in Europe and did kind of I don't know how many weeks it was, but like a 5 or 6 week video drips, because I just know that my leadership skills needed to go up a few notches. And so, and John Maxwell is like one of the leading gurus in the world on leadership. So I finally was like, just friggin' read a book, buddy. So I'm so grateful for the speakers they bring. Amy Purdy, I remember crying seeing that video 12 years ago and then showing it to all my class, like all my students at the high school I worked at, because she just is a powerhouse at igniting belief, right? I mean, isn't that what it's all about? Igniting belief in ourselves, igniting belief in those around us, igniting belief in big visions, so.
Love it. Love it. Thanks, Aaron. Yes, definitely some amazing, look at all of those that we've gotten to hear in person. And I know that Amy's not going to disappoint this year either. All right, so let's do a giveaway really quickly. In the chat, you are going to write in your response, and then we will randomly select the winner that will be announced the next time that we do a giveaway. So here is your question. What is one thing so far that you've heard that has you excited about the prospect of attending either virtually this year or going in person next year? What's one thing that has you excited so far? Go and just put your answer in the chat. We'll let that go. I'm going to continue on with workshops. So we're going to get to hear tonight from Amy Marble and Emily Tyler, just about some of their experiences with past workshops. Amy Marble, we will start with you. Go ahead and come live.
Awesome. Yeah, I look forward to convention every year. I think it's so important to understand that it doesn't matter where you're at on your Young Living journey, whether you're building a business or you're just wanting to learn more about the product, you're a geeky, sciencey type of brain that really wants to dig in. All areas, it really caters to all of our different personality types. So for me personally, I love listening to the speakers. I love to get an idea for who they really are. I love the opportunities to meet them in the hallways and ask them questions. And I think that's the biggest thing. Is when you're pursuing, especially the business end of Young Living, it's really hard. I won't say hard. Sometimes it can be a little bit of a task to figure out exactly how to do the things and what the things are and exactly what it is. And we're on such a journey of looking for this easy button, this magic formula of how it's done. And the more you go to the conventions and the more you see, it really is about fine-tuning who you are as an individual and your skill set. And so you'll have breakouts that touch all these different areas, personal development, product education, and I'd highly recommend, you're going to get fire hose with all kinds of information. So I'd highly recommend to go ahead with the intention of setting out exactly what it is you're wanting to get out of Young Living's convention this year, whether you're wanting to learn how to use the product more, you're wanting to dive into IPAs more, teaching classes, honing in on social media, how to lead a team, honing in on understanding the business. In a notebook, if you have all of that kind of identified and you can label all of those broken down, you can flip through your notes. I have about 6 notebooks full of speakers from like Lindsay Teague Marino, Jordan Schrant, you know, guys, the people that we watch all along the way. And when you're getting these nuggets of wisdom, it's so important that you try and take at least one key element from each speaker and identify what you can implement, because it's okay. I mean, you can get fire hose with information until the cows come home. But if you're not intentional in what it is that you're learning, and you're going to grab what nugget that you're going to take and run forward with, then you're really not doing your business, or you're learning, if you're not interested in the business, any service whatsoever. So I highly recommend that you really be intentional moving forward before you even open up the live stream, and understand what it is that you're wanting to gain out of it. The other thing too, just keep in mind, we're saving a ton of money not traveling this year. So Ignite, make sure you guys, if you're not spending money going to convention, learning the breakouts, get your Ignite ticket. Let's make this the biggest LWN family reunion ever, because Ignite really is how you learn how to do the things. If you're wanting to do this as a business, watch these breakouts, take good notes, and come to Ignite. So Emily, take it away.
Awesome. Thank you. Hi, everyone. I offered to share a story from my Young Living convention experience, because it really did transform how I saw one particular oil. I was looking back today to try to remember what convention it was, and I think it was 2010. I think it was my first convention, 2010. I started using oils in 2008, maybe, I think. And so it was my first convention. And for the first 2 years that I used Young Living oils, I would get the starter kit or whatever, the everyday essential oils or whatever. There were 7 oils in them. And I would just get the whole pack every time. Cause you know, when I first started, I didn't know what I needed. So I just got them all, you know, like I'll just keep getting the same ones. And in that pack, every time, as it does now, came frankincense. And I did not like frankincense. I didn't like the smell of it at all. And so every time I got the everyday oils, I just put the frankincense in a drawer, never used it, never opened it ever again. And so by the time I went to my first convention, I had like, I don't know, 5 or 6 bottles of frankincense in a drawer in my bedroom that I'd never used, never opened. And we get to convention, and the whole convention is targeted and talking about frankincense. Like that was the theme of convention. And so through, the general sessions and then also the workshops, like I learned so much about frankincense and so much about how good it is for you and all the benefits. And to this day, I wear frankincense every day. Like I went home from that convention and I was like, I have to learn to like it. Like it's just that great. I have to do it. And so, yeah, to this day, it's part of my daily routine with my oils. And I know how important it is. So
I remember that like it was yesterday. And how excited you were that you had this whole stash of frankincense at home.
Well, that's when Dr. Salil, remember Dr. Salil was there presenting from Oman, because we had opened the distillery in Oman. Guys, we're the only ones still to this day to have and harvest our own frankincense from the trees in Oman. Hello. Fantastic. Yeah. Emily, I remember that too. Super fun.
What I do want to know is, have you started to embrace juniper, Emily?
I was just going to say, I just can't get behind juniper yet. I just can't do it.
What about
John-
you, Joel?
John always wears it when I'm around because he knows that I don't like the smell of it. But I just can't
At the
get
farm,
behind it.
and Emily's like, it smells like BO at the farm. And then remember Jerry's first convention, he like laid in the big juniper pile and had like 6 coming out of his shirt, and you were like, get away, you smell like it now.
I can smell it from a mile away, and it's like almost every year at the farm they're distilling juniper.
Always
I'm like,
distilling juniper.
can you distill something that smells good, please?
So
Come on.
funny. Well, thanks, Em, for sharing that story. I think that's what I love about Young Living Conventions is that it doesn't matter if you are just using the products and loving them, which was our first couple of years going, where we were just kind of dabbling in the business, but really we just wanted product education. So that's what we were there for. Or if you are all in building a business, it doesn't matter. Like, it's for everybody. And I love, love, love that. I did want to mention one thing for those of you who might be part of this tonight. You're like, what is Ignite? Amy was talking about Ignite. That is an event that our local group does every February. And so she's talking about get your tickets for next February for our local event, which is in Glendale, Arizona. It's an incredible event to be a part of. So, all right, thank you so much for sharing. We are going to go over to Sheila. Sheila, are you on? You're going to talk a little bit about the expo experience, followed by Heather, also talking about the expo.
Awesome.
Hi, Sheila.
Well, I think we all now know that our dear friend Emily needs to use juniper, because isn't that the whole thing, Em, right? And I'm so excited because I get to talk about the expo. Now, this is not going to be as polished, but I do have some pictures, so bear with me. I'm just putting this all together. But okay, let's look at Expo, E-X-P-O. You guys, this is the highlight. I know you've heard the farm is the highlight. It is. And I know you've heard the keynote speakers are the highlight. They are. But this, the expo, is the best. So this is where you get to walk around. Let's go with E. You get education. So here you get to actually, I don't know if you can see my screen. I'm hoping you get to experience the oils and like the CBD oil. Look at that. We could dip in that and smell. Every oil that Young Living has is on display. You get to talk to people from Young Living. I got to talk to a scientist from about the CBD oil and ask questions that some of my members wanted me to ask. And so it's very, very cool. So the education piece is great about the expo. X, well, there's a lot of exciting opportunity things to do, actually, and one of them is to visit Club Red, where you get to toast with your friends a Ningxia shot of, oh my golly, all kinds of different ones. Here's several of us a couple years ago. By the way, I've gone 6 years in a row and taken my dear team members from Indiana, Michigan, Florida, Utah, all over that we've come together. And that's another great thing. But the exciting things that happen, just the excitement in the whole place in the expo, it's electric. Ooh, there's another word. But we love Club Red, where you get to have these great shots and buy Zing and buy all kinds of other things. So that's great. Now, P is definitely the people. Oh my golly, the people you get to meet. I think about, as I look through the pages of all of you on tonight, I cannot wait to walk through Expo and see people, Emily, right? Emily and Leanna and Janie, my dear friend. I always can't wait to see what shoes you have on. Carrie and Liesel and Jessica, Nan, Amy, and of course, when running into the Layman's, it's just, you feel so great. But then you run into Connie McDaniel, and then you pass, other people that are corporate leaders that are taking pictures with you, but also just talking. So the people you run into is pretty amazing. And then finally, O for Expo, the opportunities we have. You guys, these are my friends. We get to try on the makeup. So this is my good friend Stacy and Jan standing over here this side. I'm taking pictures because it's the greatest thing. We get to try on the makeup, do makeovers. We get to, again, experience the new products and experience even they have stuff set up from the farm that we can experience. So I think that the expo is one of my favorite times. This is my dear friend Nicole. It was her first year last year, and these little strips are all the strips. She went through every one of the oils and put a dip into it, and then she'd walk around and just sniff. You know how, that whole thing? No, she was doing this the whole time, and she was the happiest girl and absolutely loved expo. So it's another thing about I've noticed and have experienced with Young Living Convention going 6 years in a row. They are never the same. They're always different. People will say, what do I expect? Like, well, last year we did this. And it always changes because Young Living's always doing better. And this year, of course, they didn't choose this, but they're going to do this pretty doggone well. I just know it. So please join us. It's the best. So thanks. Passing on the mic.
That was so awesome. I was so curious once I knew you were going to be doing like an acrostic with Expo, what the X was going to be. I was like, xylophone. I love it. Thank you for sharing your enthusiasm about the Expo. That was awesome. Heather, are you on tonight?
I'm here. Hello.
Hey, Heather.
Hello.
Take it away, girl.
Yes. So Sheila, I love how you laid it out so nicely. And then I feel like our brains are very different. So you had a different word for each letter. And my brain, as soon as I walked into Expo, just was like a kid in a candy store. I was like, oh my gosh. And I had to try everything. I love just knowing things. I love having knowledge. And Amy's like laughing because she knows this is true. I want to try everything, be everywhere, do everything. So I walk into Club Red and I'm like on cloud 9, hyped up on Ningxia, just taking so many shots with peppermint and cinnamon and Mindwise. And I'm like, you're just going through. It's like you're walking on a little cloud. And then when you actually go into the expo room, it's massive. Like we know how many products we have. We see them in the virtual office all the time and we talk to people about them or use them in our homes. But seeing them on a massive scale it's just a game changer because I mean, CBD was last year. It was my first convention last year and there's like CBD everywhere. And I was rubbing CBD all over myself. And then the Savvy station where you get to find your perfect match just for you or someone else. I remember I was dragging Leanne Burbank, who is my amazing upline, who is just a little bit older than me. I was like dragging her with me everywhere I went. I'm like, I want the free stuff. I want to try everything. I want to taste everything, like smell everything. And it was just, oh my, Willy Wonka's chocolate factory for Young Living people. That's how I describe it. Expo is fantastic. I was finding the workshops are amazing. Don't get me wrong. Go to the workshops. They're amazing. But I was like finding, I'm like, okay, do I really need this one? Like, can I just go back down to the expo and like meeting people, hearing about the foundation, getting to talk to diamonds, Royal Crown Diamonds, like people who are not only invested in the company as a whole and the business as a whole, but also wanting you to be just as invested and you to just soak it all up. That's what people are there for. That's why you can meet Melissa Pepping and have her like give you tips on what to put on your face with Savvy. That's why you can meet diamonds and people from all over the world so that they know that people invested in them and they want to invest in you. And what better place to do it than when you're sampling every product and smelling every single oil laid out for you and trying einkorn things that you're like, I don't know if I like einkorn. It's amazing. They put it in brownies and it's phenomenal. That's the best place to be, in my opinion. Like you get to touch everything, smell everything, and experience it with the most joyful people around the world. So 10 out of 10. This year's going to look a little different, but it's still going to be amazing because talk to your upline. If they don't have an oil, they'll talk to someone and they'll get it to you so you can try it out. But next year, you find me at the expo. I'll be running around like the Tasmanian devil through the Ningxia Red Room and everywhere. So I love it. Expo's amazing.
Well, I'll tell you what, if I've never been to the expo, I would want to go to the expo now.
Me too.
Thank you for that, Heather. So awesome. Okay, let's announce our winner from the first giveaway. So just as a reminder, if you hopped on late, $20 off of a virtual convention ticket. So we'll work that out with you after the call. So if you win, if I call your name and you're like, I already have one, then you get to gift it to somebody. So we'll connect with you after. Okay, so Michaela Andy. Michaela Andy is what it says. I don't know who Michaela Andy is. So if you could type in what your like name with Young Living is and what your member number is, that would be super helpful. Just put that in the chat there. And then let's do another giveaway. Okay, so here's your next question. Do you have your ticket yet for the virtual convention? Don't worry, I'm not gonna only pick people who have virtual ticket. Like, it's really gonna be random. So if you have somebody you're like, ooh, I hope I win it so I can give it to this person, it is gonna be randomly selected. So
hey, and while people are putting that in, I know you're gonna go on to the next person, but I'm just gonna take an opportunity to share my screen. Maybe not right now, but in a second. I don't know what happened to that. Because we have a special LWN convention group, and we haven't mentioned that yet on here. Some of you may already be in it, but others of you may need to be added. So please look for the LWN convention. It's marked 2020 on Facebook. I'll pull up a graphic of it later on when I have a little bit more organization. I'm not sure why my Safari's down, but I'll play that. I've already got it ready. I just didn't have it ready right this second. But do join the convention group if you have a ticket, because we've got a couple extra special connection points and events that we're doing in there, and we'll tell you about those later.
It's LWN Young Living Convention 2020. So if you're trying to find it and search for on Facebook, LWN Young Living Convention 2020. So you can ask to join that. All right, we are gonna move on to a very special person in the Young Living world, Gary Young. Gary Young passed away 2 years ago. So some of you were unable to meet Gary because of that, if you've joined the Young Living family since that time. But a lot of you have been around and were able to go to conventions where he was a part of the experience. And there's really nobody like this guy. Seriously, we always joke that he was the real Dos Equis man, the most interesting man in the world, because he lived a life like nobody I know, really. I don't think you can compare anybody to this man. So I am so grateful to him for so many things. And I'll talk about that a little bit when it's my time, but Deb is gonna share first. Deborah Lehman, if you would come live and share an experience you had with Gary Young.
Hey, while I'm coming live, Andrea, would you and Andy take time to check your texts? We got a little family text going so we can stay connected through these. Okay, so Angie's showing, this is not in chronological order, but I'll do this. So this was at the 2013 Silver Retreat, which was in it was in the Idaho farm called St. Mary's. And this was at a picnic that we had. And this is an opportunity of a picture with Gary. And also, I need you to know, this was the first time we had taken time to hear Gary as a storyteller. Now, those of you who have heard Gary, that is his middle name. He was a storyteller that had you on the edge of your seat, so engaged, taking notes. And that was true here at this Silver Retreat. We were in a big area, an amphitheater-like, where we were just listening to him for a couple hours at a time, learning all about Young Living and his journey with Young Living. And that's one of the places, I don't know if all of you have your oils out or not, but that was one of the places where we learned of all of the attention he gave to blends. And right now I'm holding Highest Potential. He took a lot of time to put different oils together for blends, you know, and so that's what to me sets Young Living apart, is all of the blends that he prayerfully took to, and if you look through the product guide, you'll see all of the blends and what they mean, and he took time for that. So make sure as you are using the oils and you are researching them and looking at your product guide to see what it is about each of the blends. It's amazing. So I'm going to go back a little bit then for my other story about Gary. Our family joined Young Living. I joined in August of 06, and the kids came on in the fall of 07. Now, we knew we were not going to be able to go to the convention in 08 because we had already planned a family trip to Europe. So I was asking around where could we go, where can we see to get a little bit more knowledge about Young Living. Gary happened to be coming to La Jolla, California to present. And so we made a family road trip across the desert in March of 08. And we heard Gary when he was fresh back from Ecuador. In fact, he said to us that night, now these pictures are in no order because I've just gotten back, but he showed pictures and pictures of all of the excavating of the farm in Ecuador. Now, I want to point out that these pictures that Ange is showing, you can have, oh, she already has the book up. You can have your own book with these pictures. They are on the website Life Science Publishing, which is discoverlsp.com. So if you want your own book to know more about the history, Ange, if you'll flip the page for the other pictures. This is also when Gary.
You got to tell me, Mom, which one you can see because I got them all up, so I got to know what you.
The ones with the boys.
Is what you can see right now?
No, I see the muddy trail and the truck.
Okay, so I will take that one down. Oh, hold on.
So
the boys. Here you go.
Yeah. So here are the boys again. They lived, I think, for a period of 5 years in Ecuador at least, till they got the farm up and running. And so he also was teaching Jacob how to run one of the excavators himself in Ecuador. So the stories were amazing. And afterward, we got to go up and stand in line to meet Gary personally. And Gary is of small stature, like I think 5'7", 5'8" in height, but the power and the healing experiences that he's had through the years. He was listening to people's stories as we stood in line to talk about what would be amazing oils to use to support people on their health journey. And so we came away from that La Jolla experience with Gary saying, we're in, we are in, we are amazing product users. We are going to choose to share these products with others. That was a time where we chose on a haphazard way, but we were committed to the products. And this will be our 12th convention for Ange, Andrea, and me, and Grant. It will be our 12th. The four of us have made all of the conventions since 2009, because a year later we went to Minnesota, and that's where we first met Connie McDaniel, teaching about thieves. So that's Gary, amazing storyteller, amazing researcher, and an amazing man who has changed our lives. Incredible.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And can we also just talk about how good you look? Get your hair and your cute glasses. Love it.
It's almost like you're out of the witness protection program because we can see you in a new light.
I have a new light, everybody. Deborah upgraded. She has a new light. So she's got a little light on her face.
Looking good, Layman. Looking good. Okay, so I don't have anything fancy. I have no pictures to share. I'm just going to share some notes with you. So I'm going to tell you, you might want to get a piece of paper because some of this stuff is good. You need to know about me. I am an information hound. I love input. I love receiving information. And so like Gary Young, when he was on the stage, I would just take massive notes. And this was in the days where there wasn't any compliance. And so like he would just share whatever. Okay, so super, super cool. I learned so much from him about nutrition and about toxins and about things that we could do to just to better our health, like small things, big things. I learned about enzymes from him. I really didn't know about enzymes before that. And I didn't know how fascinating enzymes were until I heard Gary Young talk about them. So I'm going to share just some of my straight notes about enzymes and then a little bit from him about distillation. Okay, so let me talk to you about distillation real quick. He said, I truly believe distillation is the most important step in the essential oil process. Anyone can plant a plant, grow a plant, or harvest a plant, but proper distillation determines quality. Okay? The big push behind essential oils comes from the perfume and flavoring industry. They are the cartel rulers of the essential oil industry worldwide. They are our worst competitor because they cut oils. What they do is take an oil, such as lavender, and remove the lavandula oil, and I don't know how you say it, linalool oil, then replace those with synthetic elements and sell it to an aromatherapy broker. And when they need more, they take lavandin, which is high in campheine, like 18%, and heat it to flash the camphor off, and then fill that 18% void with synthetic linalool oil. So when you see linalool at 62 to 70%, you know it's been adulterated. Anyway, so he went on to talk about how he saw like lavender at the market. It's supposed to be the purest, best quality in the world. They had the listed molecules, but when you calculated the molecules listed, they were claiming it had 310%. Like when you added up all the molecules, it was like over 100%. He said it's so easy to see the deceit that goes on in this industry because people cannot get the quality that you folks have due to the fact that I invested 32 years. Due to the fact that I invested in what we have now 32 years ago. So that's just a little bit on the importance of the distillation process. And then I have this book. This was from my 2011 convention. Remember this book? Okay. And he's talking about enzymes. So I'm just going to I have like 6 pages on enzymes. So I'm just going to like throw a few sentences directly from Gary Young's mouth out to you. He said, ancient people believed plants were magical by watching them grow and change colors. They learned that aging meat gave it a better flavor and made it more tender. There's an enzyme released when blood no longer circulates to help decompose, and so that's what gave meat its flavor. Without enzymes, plants, trees, and grass could not grow, seeds wouldn't germinate, flowers wouldn't bloom. It's involved in every process, like digesting, breathing. Let's see. Enzymes are food, what did he say? Potentiates? They take food nutrition and enhance absorption. So let me give you a few things that he said that enzymes do. He said, they contain amino acids, so they can be utilized as protein. Enzymes are catalysts that create many essential biochemical reactions. They facilitate the building of compounds. They transport elements throughout the body. They break down substances. They eliminate toxins and chemical waste. So let me just say this, digestive enzymes like Essentialzyme 4, that's helping us to break down the food so their body can use it and so that waste can easily pass through our system and be released from our body. Essentialzyme, not Essentialzyme 4, but Essentialzyme, Gary recommended taking it in between meals because it would digest the junk in our bodies, okay? So unhealthy cells, I don't know what I can say compliantly, just anything that you don't want in your body. Essentialzyme is a good one to take just to be working on eliminating all of that stuff from the body. Let me see if there's anything else. I have 5 pages. There's so much. you want to use enzymes. That's what I'll say. You want to use enzymes. I would say to you, okay, let me read a few of these real quick. Okay. So they break things down. They become building blocks in the body. They help the liver and pancreas to work better. They clean clogged arteries. They empty the stomach of undigested fat. They can help, I think I can say this because it's just enzymes in general, right? And I'm not making any claims about Young Living products. They can help prevent stroke and heart attack. They eliminate old fat and proteins left deposited from years ago. They're weight regulators. They can help prevent allergies and degeneration. So there you go. That's just a few of the facts. There's more. Oh my gosh. I have so many notes. The whole book is filled up with notes. Anyway, all that to say, enzymes are one of my favorite supplements to take, and they do so many things. So if you're not on the enzyme train yet, do that. Gary Young was a huge advocate for the use of enzymes. All right, so moving on to, oh, it's me still. Okay, let's talk details for this year really quickly, and then we're gonna do our last giveaway. And then Ange, we're gonna go to you to talk about 5K and Foundation, and we'll close things up. Are we on time? We're doing good, we have 10 minutes.
Yeah,
All right,
I just went ahead and shared the screen of the LWN convention group so that.
Perfect. So that's that. Go ahead and join that group. We will get you added in there. And then I'm going to share screen real quick. Ange, for my part, says I can't. Oh, while you're sharing. Okay, let's see. Now I can. All right, let me pull up my desktop and get to, why can't I? There we go. All right. So if you just Google, I can also put this, I'll put the web address in the chat over here. But if you just Google Young Living Convention 2020, you'll see a CVent address as one of the first ones on the Google search that comes up. To get your ticket, you just will go there. So you'll click on that link that takes you to the CVent site. And then there's an area for you to register. Okay, register now. But I wanted to show you guys really quickly just what's up for the convention agenda. So things are really going to kick off on June 18th, starting in the morning. So this is 8:30 Mountain Time. Wake Up with YL. There's Daily Dose. General session, which this is when all of the products are going to be released, you guys. So you really want to be able to watch this general session. That's going to be super exciting. We're going to be doing a LWN lunchtime in that convention group after this to kind of process all of the new products and just to have some good conversations about what happened in the general session. Products will be going live then at 12:30. So all of you who have convention tickets, if you have a convention ticket, you get to order the new products. If you don't have a convention ticket, you don't get to order them right away. And I don't know when they'll make them available for the rest of the people, but anybody who has a convention ticket, those products will show up in your VO when they go live. I really don't know how the expo thing is working. I guess we'll get more information on that. And then workshops start, maybe you know, Ange, are you?
No, Andrea, I was just going to interrupt that you said that the product sales go live and that our member number is going to be attached to our ticket. So only people with tickets are going to be able to order any products. So that is expo-like, I would say, that they'll do some virtual, sharing and showing of those events, which is part of the reason we wanted to have a live LWN lunch to just clear up questions that you're having or ordering issues. We know that they roll out in a time frame, so we want to just be patient and celebrate together.
Yes, love that. So then workshops will start. There will be 3 hours of workshop, and then they'll be wrapping up the day. And so similar scenario the next day. I don't know when we're going to get to hear from Amy. Maybe that's this general session or the one on Saturday. But there will obviously be tons of great content. And then I'm not going to spend time on this, but I just want you to know that this is here too. You can see the different classes that they're going to be having each day for that workshop time. Lots of good stuff, lots of stuff on products, lots of stuff on business, lots of stuff on just kind of, good life stuff in general. So that's all there for you to peruse. And then on the 15th, so that's just a couple days before convention starts, there's going to be the site where everything is going to be hosted on. Let me pull it up. I'm going to give you guys the.
While you're pulling that up, I'm going to answer Paula Wilson. This is all in mountain time. So
Yeah.
Salt Lake City time. So you've got to adjust for Arizona's off of that. Your East Coast times are going to be off of that. So this is all Utah time. Mountain Daylight. I knew it wasn't standard. It's like MDT right now instead of MST or something.
Yes, but
Just-
Young Living doesn't always say MDT. Sometimes
No.
they say MT. So just plug in Salt Lake City in your clock, world clock, and you'll get it.
Can you see we have some, this is a touchy point for us.
All right, so here we go. So this is the site where everything is going to be housed, where you'll be able to access the workshops and all of it. All of it will be through this site. This is youngliving1.com. And apparently we're going to be able to begin accessing stuff. I don't know what exactly, but on the 15th is when we'll be able to come to this site to see more. So once you have a ticket and you have that registration number, this is where you'll be going daily for everything.
Well, and our Living Well Now team is going to offer on a Wednesday, one of our Wednesday 5 o'clock sessions, kind of a preview of convention. We've called it Club Red. It's posted in the lifestyle group. Will be in this Zoom room. You can join us a couple days after this releases to get just a little bit of a convention preview, some excitement. We're also, this is the night that they're celebrating the Diamond Gala. So we're going to celebrate some new silvers and golds on our team from 2019, 2020. So please join us virtually on that evening just to get pumped up and excited for the next day's events as a convention kicks off. So really looking forward to that and hoping that some of you, some of the rest of you who want to be part of our call will reach out. And I'll reach out as well to see if we can have some more sharing as well. So it's just I'm just really excited about how we're making this work virtually this year. We know we can't hug each other in person, all of us, but I know some of our elite leaders are working on some special ways to celebrate you or bring together small groups of people. But most important, we want you to grab your ticket so that you can be the first among the Young Living members to know all the things, get all the things, and just be the leader and developer of your team.
Love that. And I'm going to do a quick giveaway and new question, and then we're going to have you, Ange, take us out, and we'll announce that third winner after that. All right, so our second winner is Minnie Peace. So if you can give us your full name, like with Young Living, and your member number, Minnie Peace, that would be awesome. You have a $20 off for a convention ticket if you don't already have one, or you can share that discount with somebody else. So if you put that in the thread there. And then for everybody else, last question, one valuable piece of info that you got from this call tonight. One valuable piece of info. What stood out to you? What's something you're going to take with you? Go ahead and throw that in the chat, and we'll announce that as the last thing before we end the call tonight. And we have 3 minutes to finish up.
Awesome. So I'm just giving a little bit of a highlight from the Saturday morning 5K virtual run that Young Living is sponsoring this year. I just want to really highlight to you that this is the academy when Gary and Mary, my mom showed pictures from the book earlier, when they were excavating the land for the community and for the new farm in Ecuador. So Gary saw this building run down, ramshackle kind of place, and said, what are we going to do? Like, what is that? Oh, that's our school. So they like reinforced it for a while. And then I want to show you what it looks like today. The Young Living Academy now has a 100% graduation rate, has had multiple graduations. We actually sponsor a little girl there. This is Angie. And we got to meet with her family when we were there a few years ago. It was a really special time that the Young Living Foundation undergirded. But every year, I remember Carrie Herr, I see you on this call tonight. I remember running next to Gary Young, probably about 6 years ago, I would guess, 6 or 7 years ago when we were at convention together. But Gary was there. This year, we all looked a little different because we wore our masks because the theme was I Run with Heroes. And they are honoring a 5K virtual run. There is a costume party connected. There's really fun ways that you can get involved by joining. But I really want to, this is Nan Gillespie, my non-runner friend, who said to me, Ange, make sure everybody knows that the t-shirt And a 5 mil of valor is enough reason to spend $30 for a virtual 5K ticket. So Nan, who doesn't run, I think is going to be virtually running, which means in her bed horizontally, this convention. And it's a great way to support the foundation and also bring attention to other needs around the world. As we close out, you can get that information again when you buy your ticket. I just want to click through some of these because you're going to recognize some fun faces. This is from last year. We have had some really fun experiences together at convention. This was in Dallas when we went there in 2 sessions. So here's one and here's the other one. This was also Everybody Fancied Up. And this was from our favorite Squatters restaurant there in Salt Lake City. We outgrew that space and had to start meeting for brunch at the Hilton. Actually, it was an early breakfast. It wasn't really brunch. And this is where it all began, 2012, when it was just us. After some people took a break from that year and we came back pumped up and excited. And now we're super stoked that, and I didn't get that one in here, but we're super stoked that so many people have now joined our team and continue to see the belief in the company and Gary's vision of bringing this to the world through network marketing. So guys, if you have enjoyed tonight's presentation and you want to learn more, tomorrow night, Nan Gillespie and Sandra Hood will be presenting our Intro to Business. Be part of the mission to bring, and the vision to bring essential oils to every home in the world. We're really glad that you joined us tonight. Andrea, I think I got us to 6. You get us to 60059.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much for being on. Our third winner is Jaylene Medina. As long as that's your name with Young Living, we're good to go. We'll be able to contact you. If it's different, put it in the thread for me really quickly so we know how to get a hold of you. Thank you guys so much for being on. Call tomorrow night about business if you're interested. Next Wednesday, yes, it is next Wednesday, we're going to do a Ningxia Red class, all about Ningxia Red. Learn why I've been drinking Ningxia Red every day of my life for the last 13 years. Okay, there's been a few days that I've missed, but overall, I would say 97% of the last 13 years I have drank Ningxia Red. So find out why. You guys have a great night. Thanks for being here, and we will see you soon.